Morning. Today is the 13th of July and here we are at the 2025 BMC Leyland show here at the British Motor Museum at Gaydon in Warwickshire. I do apologise in advance if I get things wrong, if I fall over, if I get interrupted by wind noise and announcements. I'm afraid it's just the way that it goes on this channel. So this is the Daimler, Manchester and BSA Owners Club. Not a massive display, but then these are very, very rare cars, all of these, so you'd expect that. Very nice condition, all the things they have here. This is a 1955 Daimler Conquest Century Drophead Coupe. And this is the sort of thing that Daimler used to make before the takeover came from Jaguar of BSA in 1960. But what is outrageous some of the other things that they were making at the time. The company chairman of BSA was a chap called Lord Docker. His lady wife, Lady Docker, was one of the most outrageous people who's ever been involved in the motor industry in this country. She produced a series of very special concept cars, and they were totally outrageous. Every single one of them was, I think the word we use is vulgar, which didn't really go down well with the Daimler board or anybody else, but nevertheless we have them and they are extraordinary. But these two are much more what they were making for the traditional Daimler customer at the time, which of course included the Rover family. This is a later Daimler. This is based of course on Jaguar Mark II. This will be V8 2.5 litre from 1966. This says V8 on the back, but it's called a Daimler V8 2.5 litre. Engine same as the Dart or SP250. They made these all the way through to 1969 actually. And then we've got a very, very nice 2007 Daimler Super 8. This is based on the X350 version of the Jaguar XJ. And of course it has a beige leather interior with wood and piping. I do like a nice beige leather interior, viewers. The Daimler Mark was discontinued I think in 2008. So here we are, one of the very last of them, and it's extremely fitting that is like a royal purple colour. Then we got some SP250s. The thing was, when the takeover came of BSA and then of course Daimler in 1960, Jaguar were about to launch the E-Type, and so the fact that they had this and the E-Type in production at the same time, when this was I think fiberglass and had this interesting styling and the V8 engine and everything like that, and the E-Type was one of the most handsome cars that have ever come out of anywhere, with the wonderful XK engine. Couldn't really justify having both of them, so the SP250 was killed off in 1964, which is a shame. And in fact here is a 64 car. I think the styling is very interesting, and there were quite a few cars that looked like this around the turn of the 60s. Still with the sort of tail fins of very popular at the end of the 50s. And these are very rare now. I can't remember how much these are sort of worth in comparison with an E-Type. Somebody in the comment section below can tell me. E-Type values have softened recently. Nevertheless, it would be interesting to have a go in something like this, just to compare it. I've driven a couple of E-Types, I've never driven one of these. There we go, this one is a 1961. There we are. Improved the chassis and upgraded to B specification. So they did actually make some modifications to the later cars after Jaguar took over. Presumably because they thought it wasn't good enough or something, I don't know. Never seen one with a hardtop before, that's interesting. Yeah. Right viewers, now we've got a huge selection of TR Triumphs. An awful lot of them, so we'll go through as easily as we can. So we have TR8 and TR7 V8s, they made both of them. This is a very early TR8, built in 1979, with a 5-speed manual. Let's have a look at the back end and see the boot lock, which will confirm it's probably built at Canley. Yes it is. The Solihull built cars have a different boot lock. It's something I learnt from one of the members of this club a long time ago. Another TR8 7980 registration, again built at Canley. Got 1980, this one. This stage you have that was the sort of logo they were using for Triumphs, which isn't too bad. Laurel Reef, standard TR7 this one, like the one next to it. Strangely enough, this is on quite a late plate, it's 8182, but it's still a Canley built car. It's not got the revised boot lock on it. And actually the TR7's finished sales really around to late 82, despite the fact that the car's been sort of out of production about a year by that stage. This one's got the V8 in it. Sadly, they don't look massively different actually, if you've got the 4-cylinder or the V8. And there we go, that is a Solihull built car. You can see the boot lock is different straight away in comparison with this TR8 here, which is a coupe. 79 to 80 plate. And then we saw V8 in much earlier cars competition. This TR7 here, for example, probably got one in it. 76, 77 registration. And then another Solihull built car with the revised boot lock with the V8 engine. There were lots of sort of minor changes to the interior made over the course of a long period of time with the TR7s and TR8s. I drove a TR7 for the first time in 2023 and the back end was a little bit loose on it for some reason. I don't quite know why. I'll have to drive another one at some point just to see if that was that particular car or if the back ends really are very loose in these. Information sheet excellent, a 1981, so very, very late on then. Fairer Gold is the name of this colour. Ties up with the boot lock, and then we've got a TR7 Sprint. The Sprints were, well, they're sort of the car that the TR7 should have been all along. So they had a limited production batch of these built, all at Speak, which is the original factory in Liverpool, but they kind of stopped making the Sprint because production at Speak ended in, I think, 1978 after a lot of problems with industrial relations. And so they decided just to keep going with a normal one, where they transferred production to Canley, and then the Sprints never kind of continued. They made something like 80 of these, most of them on SJW, something S plate like this one. So it's the standard TR7 just with a 16 valve version of the engine that was in the Dolomite Sprint. The normal TR7 just have the 8 valve version of the engine. Then we've got another TR8, another late one in an X. The convertibles didn't come out until 1979, so the coupe tend to be a bit more common just in generally with its shape. Another Sprint here, another SJW car. I like this colour. I can't remember, I think this is mimosa yellow from memory. Could be wrong though. This one's been a little bit more sort of modified. TR V8. Look at this, wow. So I bet we're going quite quickly in this, viewers. We're going very quickly actually. Getting one of the later ones with the revised boot lock from Solihull.
Everybody else seems to know we've got a TR7, that's 2. So
It's left-hand drive this one. Interesting. Built 1977, TR8 Coupe, early car from Pilot build, although registered obviously much later. And a couple more. 81, 82 on an X with this sort of tartan interior. There's different types of tartan actually as well. And then this slightly earlier car, TR old Southampton plate, and the plate to say Lexmead of Southampton, so I was right. 79 to 80. Then we'll go on to this next area here with a bit more variation now, which is fine. Dolomite Sprint. Interesting wheels on this. I don't know why someone would want to change the standard alloy wheels on a Dolomite. Sorry, 300 HL, but with a full vinyl roof, which is not exactly what it would be originally. You wouldn't get the full vinyl roof on the HL, you just get a sort of a half vinyl roof at the back, but still looks good. We've got the little lower spoiler as well. I've got a problem with the way that someone's done that, slightly wider tyres and the steel wheels for probably better handling and things. Looks very nice. forget the name of that colour actually. What's that? 678, 79. Then a Spitfire 6970 on an H. This is, I think, a Mark III from memory. Then we've got a much later one. We've got about 10 years later. This is a 1500. It finished production about 1980. This is a 79 to 80 registration, and someone has modified the gear levers slightly. We've got overdrive in there, I think. At some point in my life, I must try a Spitfire, because I've never had much to try one of these. I've got close a couple of times, but never quite managed it. Then one of the big Triumphs with the Innsbruck facelift. It's just standard 2000, this one. Yeah, it's just a standard 2000, 72, 73 on an L. And then we've got a Vitesse, late Vitesse, 6970 on an H with a 2 litre. It's funny how long this design just kept going. I mean, it went straight through to really the Dolomites, which started production around 1971. Then we've got an Acclaim HL with just wheels on it. I don't know what wheels these are actually. Maybe they're off a Honda or something. I'm not sure actually. Later Acclaim 83, 84. Then we're going much earlier, 1966. If we have, I'd imagine a TR4A. Yes, it is. It's a TR4A. Certainly a very nice showing. All sorts of different TRs here from the club that's brought them. And a very late Spitfire, an X plate, so a late registration. Russet brown or something, this colour. 81, 82 registration, but obviously built in 1980. But a Triumph GT6. 68, 69 on a G. Next to a GT6, which you will try to look at in a second, is this Dolomite Sprint. Strangely enough, it's actually not got the Sprint wheels on it. Instead, it's got some Dunlop alloy wheels on it, which is interesting. So, sort of full professional spec, apart from the fact the professional's car was white in 77. This one, 77, 70. Actually, what's going on here today? This isn't actually a Sprint at all. This is an 1850 HL with the full vinyl roof, which again it shouldn't have. It should just have a little kind of vinyl on the pillars. It shouldn't have the full vinyl roof, but people like to change them. This is what it should look like. There we go. Very, very early Sprint actually on an L. They came out in 73, and this will be one of the first. And you can see full vinyl roof with Sprint badging and no head restraints. That's how they came originally. Later ones do look a little bit different. They've got a slightly different front end as well. That's a very, very early one. Still can't get over 56. Never mind, we'll keep going. So, standard TR7 with the 2 litre badges on it. Lots and lots of awards on this car. Lots and lots of awards. The engine looks actually in excellent condition. Yeah, very late one, 81, 82 registration of that. But we've got another 2000, 71, 72 with the Innsbruck facelift. (1980, 1981) TR8. (1979 to 80) TR8 with a full cover on there. You could even get yourself a TR8 baseball cap, viewers, but I shall not do that because I like this Panama instead. Another TR7 coupe. There seem to be more convertibles today than there are the coupes for reasons I'm not really sure why.
Yeah.
Another convertible 79 to 80 on a V. So 67, 68 GT6. I think a Mark 1 actually like this. Next we've got a Mark 2, 68, 69 on a G. This is also a Mark II, but this will be a late registration actually, because by the time this car registered at 71, 72, they had the Mark IIIs out, which have a completely different rear end to these. It's a lot less fussy actually. This is more fussy with the Mark II rear end, as you can see. It has a Mark I, which is again different. 67 only this would be actually on an E plate, so very early one with Dunlop, cosmic colour with on Dunlop ones. And this is what a Mark III looks like. Here we go, 71, 72 on a K. You can see we've got this sort of camback style rear end. They kept changing the rear suspension on a GT6 throughout its production life for reasons I've never really fully understood. Somebody in the comment section below could explain to me why they kept changing the rear end suspension on the GT6. Then we've got a TR6, 1970 to 71 registration. This one's obviously modified for some competition use perhaps. You've got quite a nice selection here of TR6s, 71, 72, 69 to 70. I wonder if we've still got the good old Lucas mechanical fuel injection in all of these, which I think the export cars to America didn't have. They had carburettor instead. In fact, here's a left-hand drive one. Original dealer in Vancouver. That's actually got carburettors on it. Maybe it's a bit easier to look after those than it is to look after the lovely mechanical fuel injection from Lucas. 73, 74 TR6 with luggage rack, Triumph tune. Compared with the TR7s, the TR6, which had its origins, I think, back in the TR2 from sort of 1952, just very, very different, probably an anachronism back in the day, really. Gone to the early 70s. TR3 there from the late 50s, I think. Then another Mark III Spitfire, 69 to 70. As we saw earlier on, the whole front end of the car lifts up, so the underbody access is absolutely extraordinary in these because they have the same chassis as a Herald. Another Reclaim. Leyland Honda of Manchester, just ironic really. Can't tell offhand what model that is. Probably one of the higher ones of those wheels. And then a Spitfire 1500, which has been modified for track use, so we only got one seat. And all unnecessary weight has been removed. And another Innsbruck 2000, 72, 73, with a nice sort of Tudor Webasto style sunroof. There we go. It is a February 72 built car, but probably registered later in the year. I imagine it's an L plate. Then we've got a pre-facelift one. It looks kind of mean, this. Now, I think possibly this would have started life as a 2.5 PI, but it's now a 2500 TC, so there we go. Relatively late one. I think they finished in 77. There's 75, 76 registration on this car. Say 2500, I think they're called the 2500 TC or 2500 S by this stage. The mechanical fuel injection system had been removed by the time this car was made, and it is indeed a 2500 S. The Stag, we'll probably see more of these at some point, I imagine. It was for sale. Ooh, 07768 775170. £14,500. Cool, Mike. As Mr. Bill from the Fuel Power channel says, this could be yours. Right, we'll go on to the next section, which does contain some Triumphs, but actually contains some Rover 600s and 800s, for which I have a particular affinity, so we will start with those. Nice late 600 here with the Honda F-Series engine. On the later ones, you don't actually get a specific badge in terms of what they are. You just get a 600 badge, like this one. This is actually a 99 Nightfire Red. Oh, it's for sale. local 07565 566 507. Very good numbers, Stuart. I quite like that. I'm quite tempted by that actually, viewers. I like these very much. Oh, this one's even nicer though, viewers, because it's another late one, a very late one, 1999 to 2000 plate, and it's got a beige leather interior with wood. I do like a nice beige leather interior, viewers, very much. Again, Honda F series in there. Contrast to this, it's called the XX type Rover 800. This is actually, I think, an 820 turbo, because I've seen this before. They are very, very, very quick, and they do like to torque steer as well. So there you go. This is immediately before the facelift, which occurred sort of late '91. This 820 turbo, which was brilliant. Later on, they changed to look a bit more like this. The Vitesse was actually available with a hatchback and a saloon towards the end. We'll see what engine we've got in here. It's probably again the T series. So there we go, T series, 95, 96 registration. Oh, viewers, now this is more like it. We do like a bit of luxury on this channel, viewers. We do like it very much, and the ultimate luxury in Rover in the 1990s was the 800 coupe, like this one. A late car, it's a manual as well. Is this a T-Series turbo one? It's a Sterling, so maybe you could get a Sterling with the 4-cylinder engine. I know the Maud of V6s, but you could get them with a 4-cylinder as well. Viewers, more luxury, more 800 coupe luxury. I think the reason why I've known one of these so far is I'm a little bit scared that they're actually hand built and they tend to rust quite badly. So there we go. Never mind. This one is another Sterling, 1997, 98 registration. And then we got the 620 SI, but it always seems to have an awful lot of work done to it. Like an awful lot of work this car's had done to it.
One circuit for the front, 1 circuit.
There we go, lowly, yeah, 1996 620 SI. The lady who owns this actually kind of has very regular updates on what's happening to her, and she's been very, very well looked after since I last saw her, which was, I don't know, September maybe? Right, now we need more Rover 600 goodness, and we have it, viewers, this Rover 618i, which is owned by Paul and Hayden. The sister car of this, which they actually used to have, unfortunately got written off some time ago, and it was almost identical to this. I filmed it in 2023. Also a 618i from this year. I think both 98 cars, both in blue. So there was a review of the other one on the channel, and I quite enjoyed it when I drove it. Very nice 2000 Vitesse here, late registration. Production finished a long time before, actually. I think late 90, early 99 production of the 800 finished. But they kept registering them until a lot later. There's the Rover T series engine in there.
1 in 5 of the electric.
Then 620 Ti. Now this shouldn't have the badge on it. It's too late for that. But I appreciate the owners put that on because that's what I might do. 1999 Nightfire red, very, very nice. And then another 600, even later registration, 1999. And this is a very rare specification, actually, this one, because I think this is a 623 GSI manual or something like that. It's something like that. Something extraordinary. And then another 800 coupe, this time in dark green. Not quite of a beige leather interior, it's not too far off, a grey leather interior. That is extraordinarily nice here. Look at that. It's a Sterling model as well. So we get ultra luxury. I'm going to have to go and have a lie down off this view. I think we've had too much. I think we've get slightly overwhelmed over here with all this luxury and these Rover 600 and 800s, which we like very, very much. This is a late pre-facelift one. It's actually only an 820i, which is, I think, the M series engine in this one. Not massively powerful, but still sort of handsome in its own way. And then we'll finish off this section with this very, very nice one with a beige leather interior and wood. I mean, why not? We do like a nice beige leather interior, viewers, and this one's actually got piping on it as well, so it's even better. That is another sterling, so there we go. So we have interesting looking TR here on a Y plate. It's got a body kit on it, and it's got some interesting mirrors as well. Very sort of 80s modified this, you know, it's probably a TR8 from sort of 82. We're still selling them into 82 in the showrooms of production of Fish in 1981. Spitfire Mark II, 67. Very sort of basic interior actually on these early cars like that. Blackpool Auto Club. One of their members is driving this TR7. Getting a late one. 81, 82 on an X with Coventry plates. Can't remember the name of this colour now. There's the front end of this early Spitfire. They came out in 62, so it's a few into production, but nevertheless relatively early because they kept going all the way until 1980. Another TR6, 72, 73 on an L. And another one of these TR7 Sprints, again SJW. It's registered a little bit later, but built July 77. Like I think all the Sprints essentially were built around that time, to speak. But another late one, 82, 83 registration. Next to a Stag. I wonder if we're going to see too many more Stags. We haven't seen so many so far, despite it being in the dedicated Triumph area. There don't seem to be too many of these. Mark II, 74, 75. Another TR3 modified for competition, be from the late 50s. Another Stag, very early one actually on J. The very earliest ones are on an H. This is on a J, so 70 to 71, Mark 1 car. This one's a manual. You could also get an auto on the Stags, sort of 50-50 really is still whether you'll find a manual or an automatic. Another late TR7, 81, 82 registration on an X. '79 to 80 Triumph TR8. Left-hand drive one actually. That looks very complicated under there. And then the last car we'll do in this part, another Coventry plate, TR8. Extraordinary kind of wheels on it. And then there we go, about 80 to 81, in a marvellous colour. Right viewers, that is it for this part. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below, and we shall see you again in the next part for some more incorrect information.